the Sherman Antitrust Act and real estate. How does it come into play? How big of a factor is it in governing how you need to operate in the world of real estate? Understand this, in the Sherman Antitrust Act, you personally can be fined up to $1 million and spend 10 years in jail if you are found to have been compromising the Sherman Antitrust Act. Let's take a look at a listing agent going into a seller's home and how this listing agent kind of continuously gets herself into trouble. And then we'll get her out of trouble, but let's take a look at this video.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to meet with you today. I hope it leads to me being able to list your home.
Sure. I think I have a pretty good understanding of what you can do for me. I should let you know that I've interviewed a couple other agents.
Yeah, I see you have some business cards there from ABC Realty and XYZ Realty. I really should let you know that both of those firms are very understaffed right now. If you went with them, you really wouldn't get the same level of service as I could give you. They just don't have the capacity. All the other firms in the area are along with me there with just not recommending anyone work with XYZ or ABC.
What did she just say? Did you hear her dissing on the competition? She was letting them have it. And here's the thing. There are competitive forces out in the marketplace, and you will be competing against people, and you will have to explain why you're better, why your services are more desirable, or why why the owner of that home is going to want to go with you. But did you see the point at which she may have broken the Sherman Antitrust Act law? Did you see the point at which she brought in a possible collusion of competitors? Did you see the point where when she talked about, oh, well, all the other brokerages in the area also believe the same thing about ABC, and so we're all kind of doing our part to keep ABC and XYZ out of this marketplace? Well, that implies that they've talked about it. And once you talk about excluding competition, right? So you and one competitor or you and a bunch of competitors get together and say, we're going to keep these people out and these people out. We'll all do business, but keep those people out. That is an infraction of the Sherman Antitrust Act, which can fall on you with a $1 million fine or 10 years in jail, or your firm up to $100 million in penalties and fines. Well, let's give our agent a chance to correct the way she said that, and let's follow along. Let's go back.
That's good. I mean, it's very smart to interview with a few different agents. You want to find the right person to work with who fits your needs the best. Of course, at the end of the day, I hope that will be me. I hope you will choose to work with me because of my good experience and negotiation skills.
Sure. I do have a couple more questions for you. Can you tell me about your fees? What do you charge for your services?
Oh, sure. I charge, that standard rate around here, which is 4%.
So if I worked with any other agent, they'd charge me the same thing?
Yes, they would. Like I said, that is the going rate around here, that 4%.
She did it again. Our agent, right? She's in there working hard trying to get this listing, and the seller's asking good questions. And believe me, they will ask you all of these questions. But you have to understand, right, with the Sherman Antitrust Act, it needs to have fair play. There needs to be an open field of battle. And what did our agent say? Our agent said, well, that's the going rate. This is the standard. This is what the marketplace does here. In fact, all the other brokerages do the same. We all do the same and let ourselves kind of compete amongst ourselves at that price range. Well, that is an infraction of the Sherman Antitrust Act again. You can't do that, right? You need to negotiate commissions. There's no standard. In fact, by law, they're negotiated all the way around. Let's pick up their conversation again and watch how our agent corrects herself right into the next one.
So I charge a fee of 4%. Other agents may charge more or less. And you should know that the commission is always negotiable. I'm going to tell you about my services, and then we'll have a discussion and we'll come to an agreement on what my fees will be for my services.
Oh, great. I've seen quite a few signs from ABC Realty in my neighborhood, but not many from XYZ. Can you tell me why you think that might be?
I might have an idea. My firm has an agreement sort of under the table with XYZ Realty that We get homes on this side of the river, and they take the homes on the other side of the river.
I'll ask them about that.
Our agent is special. She's got some issues there now. And her brokerage, right, making an under-the-counter deal with another brokerage that limits competition. The key here for antitrust laws is you can't limit competition. If you are doing something that specifically limits the competition by colluding with your competitors, because who does that injure? Who does that damage in the end? Does it damage the brokerage? Could damage the other brokerage you're colluding against. But in the end, without competition, who it injures is the clients, those home sellers and home buyers who are looking for the best representation in a free and open market. That's who the law provides for. That's who the law protects. Let's go on and watch how our agent corrects herself.
You know, I really couldn't say. I can tell you that I work hard to get any potential listings, no matter what neighborhood they're located in.
Right. So if I decide to list with you, do I also need to use you to purchase a new home?
Yeah, you do. That kind of goes hand in hand. If we come to a listing agreement here, then yeah, I would expect to work with you if you were to purchase a home.
Oh, and if I already know what title company I want to use, would that be okay?
No, you'd have to work with the title company that my firm works with.
Okay.
So you've got to like the aggressiveness of our agent, but she repeatedly is getting herself in trouble with antitrust laws. Remember, the key about antitrust laws is competitive environment. And when you try to control things that you're not supposed to be, or you collude with the competition and eliminate competition, you could be in violation of the antitrust laws. So here, when she says you've got to use me as your agent, that's not true. She has to be open for that deal. If it's that listing and it's that contract, that's fine. But the next deal to purchase is a separate deal. And sure, you're going to want to sell yourself, and you're going to sell your skills and your abilities, and hopefully you demonstrate that capacity through the listing. But you can't make it a part of the listing agreement. That's a separate transaction, along with the title company. Now, when I, as an agent, say you've got to use this title company, am I limiting the competition, making sure that that homeowner, that seller, has the best representation, the best pricing, the best services that's available for them? Well, the law is pretty clear. And then the fact is, no, that doesn't help them. So let's see how our agent solves this issue.
You know, that's a good question. No, you would not be required to work with me if you were going to be purchasing a home later, simply because we came to an agreement here with listing your home.
Right. And the title company?
Yeah, you could work with any title company you choose. If you didn't have one in mind, say, I would be able to provide you a list of options that you could choose from, but I can't force you to work with anyone. And the same is true for an appraiser or an inspector in that regard.
Okay.
Competition. When you enter the real estate industry, you're going to realize that it's very competitive. There are lots of agents out there. There are lots of brokerages out there, lots of different competing models. And you know what? That's all good for the consumer. It's all good for home sellers, and all good for home buyers, because they have all the services to pick from. It's a very competitive marketplace. And where it gets into trouble, and the reason we have antitrust laws, is because when we do things to limit that competition, people can be injured. You know, when we do price fixing, saying that this is what we're going to charge on commissions, and it's what everybody does, and we've agreed to it, that's bad. If we're talking about group boycotting, right? Like, oh, we don't use X, Y, Z, and ABC. They're not liked around here. Or if we're talking about allocation of customers, where you know what, we're going to do it on this side of the market, and you're going to do it on this side of the market, like even when it comes to allocation of markets, like remember the river, one's on one side of the river and the other one's on the other side of the river. And then finally, when you get into little things like tie-in agreements, like, well, we can use our services and we're going to give you a great price on listing your home as long as you use our mortgage services and our title services, and you have to do that in order to get this great price on a listing because we're going to nail you on these other things. Those tie-in agreements are also in violation of antitrust laws. So be competitive, right? Be strong in your marketplace, differentiate yourself, but be very careful of the antitrust laws that kind of govern this business.